So if you've been following my channel for any amount of time now, you'll know that fewer things get my dick harder than talking about these TV rights deals. We've been talking about them for the better part of a whole year now, and then some, from Warner Brothers Discovery all the way up through Amazon Prime. But now we know, now it is official. Monday Night Raw, WWE's flagship brand, will now be heading to Netflix in a historic 10-year deal. And for more on the specifics of that, let's check in with our good friend Dave Meltzer over at the Wrestling Observer Radio with Brian Alvarez.
We finally know where Raw is going, and it's Netflix.
Yes. Most of the analysts thought Amazon Prime and FX were the two leading candidates.
Well, I thought Amazon Prime, and I thought there was a chance that they would make $500 million a year. And as it turns out, they're making $500 million a year on Netflix.
Yeah, but that's kind of misleading because it's not just like it's the 265 to 500, which sounds like double, because this also includes, international territories and all the rights to pay-per-views outside of the United States and Canada, I believe. It's technically a 10-year deal, but it can be 15 years. And in 15 years, who knows what rights fees are going to be in 15 years and what inflation is going to be in 15 years. And they're locked into something. Essentially, Netflix has the option to keep them at this range for up to 15 years, or they can opt out after 5 years if they don't like the way it's going. So it's called a 10-year deal, but it's really a 5-year deal with 15 years based on what Netflix wants, essentially.
So we have essentially what could be anywhere from a 5-year to a 15-year deal for Netflix picking up the Raw brand. And look, man, this is a gigantic move. This is a huge shakeup throughout the entire industry. This is not just a shakeup in the industry of professional wrestling. This is a shakeup in the entire entertainment industry. And we kind of saw this coming. And, we had this conversation going when we were hearing rumors that Amazon Prime Video was in the hunt for this product. And then, of course, Peacock's had the WWE Network for a number of years now. And even most recently, that NFL football game that was held exclusively on Peacock that drew over 20 million people, 23 million people to watch a football game on a streaming network. We talked about this a little more in a previous video, but we're going to dive in deep now that we know the specifics. And this has a lot of people with a lot of opinions. A lot of people are worried. A lot of people concerned. A lot of people pissed. This is a huge shakeup. And for more details on the specifics of the detail, we're going to check in with the man himself, the man who had a large hand, obviously, in putting this deal together, Nick Khan. Nick Khan himself did a drop-in on the Pat McAfee Show today after the big deal was made, after the big announcement was dropped. And he added a little bit more insight into what's going on with this deal and even if it will remain on Monday nights. Is it Monday Night Raw now still, or is it just Raw? Nick Khan weighs in on more details. Check out this clip.
At what point is Netflix like, yeah, we're thinking about getting in the game, and like $5 billion is a big jump into the game. When did that all come together, Nick?
What we did once the SmackDown deal closed, which will shift SmackDown over from Fox to USA starting this October 1, we focused or hyper-focused on Raw. It was a robust marketplace. We had a number of meetings. There was a lot of interest. There were a number of offers. And at the end of the day, to be the first movers with Netflix live on a consistent basis. So yes, I saw the Chris Rock special too and the reality show after show, and they're doing the golf pro-am, which is all great programming. But 52 weeks a year, we're turnkey, as you know, you've lived it with us. The fact that they could come to us and say, yeah, we strike a deal and you guys do all the rest is something that they liked and certainly something that we thought was in our direct wheelhouse. It came together over the matter of a couple of months. and we think it's a great deal.
Is it Raw still going to be on Mondays? Is it going to be Monday Night Raw as we've known it, or is it going to be different days? What was that conversation like? And looking forward to this answer.
Yeah, we all are.
At this moment in time, it remains Monday Night Raw. But keep in mind, we got 10 and a half months until this deal's up and running. So we're looking at what you're looking at and what everyone else is looking at. You have the proliferation of gambling with Monday Night Football. You have an enhanced Disney package, better games, all credit to Jimmy Pitaro, the Bob Father, as Pat, you and I call him. You coined that term, Bob Iger, and all the other good folks at Disney. You got the Manning cast. You got this year, it was on ABC and ESPN, Monday Night Football. You got last season, the playoff game that they got, I believe, was Tom Brady at the Cowboys, or the season before, whatever that was. You also have the College National Championship, football and hoops on Mondays. So you got a lot of Mondays where there's stiff competition. That said, even against Alabama, Michigan, and the Washington-Texas game a few weeks ago, Monday Night Raw did a 0.6 in the 18-49 demo, which is a massive rating against big competition.
Yeah.
If we stay on Mondays, it'll work. If we move it to a different day, we think it'll work too.
Such a babyface promo right there.
Yeah.
Listen, here's all these other things. You hear these stats? Also, just still at a 0.6 if you need to hear it.
Now, as you can tell, I'm very eager to get into my thoughts and opinions, but I got to give you the meat and potatoes up first because that's what you guys come here for. And I wanted to give a well-rounded, more balanced perspective on this, something that gives me a lot of insight into this, that excites me about talking about this, is I also follow the movie insider, the dirt sheets for the movies and for TV shows and that sort of thing. Yes, they have their own dirt sheets too. And those dirt sheets will talk about the moves, the shakes, the goings on behind the scenes. And the streaming wars are a very real thing and a very big deal right now. Everybody's jockeying for position in the streaming industry. Obviously, Netflix, the king of the streaming industry right now, with a stronghold. They have been they've been around since day one. They invented the streaming industry. They are the Bitcoin of the streaming industry, while your Disneys and your Peacocks and your Paramount Pluses are your Ethereums and so on. So now I want to give you a little bit more of a perspective from that side, from the TV side. One of my favorite shows to watch that does a lot of the same kind of punditry that we do here in the wrestling YouTube space, talking about the Netflix WWE deal as it pertains more to the Netflix side. Check out this clip.
This is huge for Netflix. This really isn't a WWE story. This is a Netflix story, and this is massive for them. And I think it's kind of a, canary in the coal mine situation where it is telling us what's to come. I think we're going to, in the coming days and weeks, like I said, we've already seen a lot of streamers, but I think we're going to hear about Netflix and other of these big streamers making big moves. We just had an NFL football game not stream on a traditional, or not air on a traditional linear television network. It was only on Peacock. That was, I think, like the first time ever. Mm. And now other games have been on Peacock, but they've also been on NBC or as showed elsewhere. But this was big, and I think this is a sign of things to come.
That clip from the John Campea Show, again, on a movie pundit like we do here in the wrestling space, but on the movie side. And a lot of good points there. The live streaming is something that streaming hasn't really, no one's really won that race yet. Now, first of all, I guess before we even dive into that, it's worth kind of starting at the beginning, okay? I want to put a lot of this into perspective because a lot of people are worried, and rightfully so, I suppose, because a lot of people are set in their ways, and a lot of people are pissed off when they're clinging to their TV. It's not going to be on my TV no more. First of all, so I want to think about back, so this is a 10-year deal, right? On a streaming platform, Netflix. Think about where WWE was, where this whole entertainment scene, rights deals, all that was 10 years ago. 2024, right? Freshly 2024, coming off of 2023. the WWE Network had just launched. And at that time, it was considered a very ballsy move. People were upset about this. People didn't want to pay for a streaming service. They don't know how streaming services work. The darn-fangled internets, they're set in their ways. They'd rather pay the $40 for the pay-per-view than pay the $10 a month it was to watch on the WWE Network. And there were some glitches along the way, and we all kind of took that journey together as wrestling fans. And it was blazing a lot of new ground. And this is something that has always been said about Vince McMahon, whether you know, despite what you can say about him as a person, as a human being, and all the whatever the fuck, the dude is a savvy, smart businessman and well ahead of his time. Every move he's ever made in the wrestling industry has been ahead of its time. And people were very slow to follow. People were slow to give up the territories. People were pissed at Vince for going national. They didn't want to watch his show on their local TV. I want my Georgia Championship Wrestling, god damn it. And people weren't buying what Vince was selling. Times have changed. Over time, 10 years made a world of a difference. That was what? The early mid-'80s that Vince was buying up the territories. By the early mid-'90s, wrestling was the WWF. And WCW, had just came out of Jim Crockett Promotions and was barely even a thing at that time. WWE set that trend. Pay-per-views. They went from doing the thing where you go the closed circuit. That's what it was. They did the closed circuit. They were one of the first to move into the pay-per-view space, especially for pro wrestling. And then on to the, speed up the life story here up to the digital age where they made that jump to move the WWE Network to the internet, to be on an app and make not only that, that's one thing. Subscribe to the network. Okay, you could pass on that as a wrestling fan, but they made you buy in. No, you didn't have to buy in to get Raw or SmackDown, but you had to buy in to get the pay-per-views. Well, you didn't have to. You could still buy the pay-per-views, but it was not cost effective. But people held on to that because they were slow to change. Something I talked about in a previous video goes all the way back to radio to TV. People are always slow to change from TV to internet. Everybody remembers their mom being afraid to put their credit card in on fucking Amazon or something because they didn't want to get hacked and stole, and they don't trust that. My mom, I'm still trying to talk her into Cash App instead of having to send money back and forth for shared plans and shit like that. It's easy to just Cash App the motherfuckers. You know what I mean? But it's slow. It's slow to change. But I'll tell you one thing about my mom, and we're getting there. We're talking about the streaming deal here. I'll tell you one thing about my mom. She watches streaming. I bought her a Roku one year for Christmas when she was just a TV watcher. And because she was complaining about her cable bill going up again and calling and having to talk to them and talking down. Got her the old Roku, and she never looked back. She cut the cord. She's done. She is completely internet-based. Netflix and YouTube. My kids don't give a fuck about live TV. You think my kids turn on a TV and go, "Ooh, what's on channel fucking 62? Let me check and see what's on channel 7. I better set my DVR." No. Kids are on YouTube, and I'm not talking about 5-year-olds. 5-year-olds are too, but I'm talking about teenagers who are going to be, within the next 5-10 years, are going to be in that prime demographic, making the money, spending the money, going to things. They don't even know they wouldn't even know how to fucking turn on a TV and pick a channel. They know how to go on their fucking PlayStation and pop open the Netflix app and watch Netflix or YouTube. And a lot of you are going to be slow to change, and you are very vocal out there right now on the internet. And there's a lot of people that are kicking and screaming about this already. They were about that football game too. And I'll tell you this. I've always been very progressive and had a fond understanding, I felt, of the way of this, the way that the industry is moving and the way that it is going all digital and streaming. You see all these other networks, all of a sudden, Max is picking, Warner Brothers Discovery's got Max, Paramount Plus, there's Peacock, what's the other one? There's Hulu out there, Disney Plus. There's fucking so many of these streaming services. A Shudder, if you're a horror fan, it's endless. The streaming services are endless out there. And it's obviously going to become the way of the new world, but what really sunk it in for me was hearing that football game drew 23 million viewers on Peacock. Now, let that sink in for a little bit. People were really, really pissed. Would a football game do 20 million on TV? Maybe. People are wondering, what about the ratings? Ooh, they only draw like 1.5 million to 2 million on a high for Monday Night Raw on national TV. Netflix has like 200 million subscribers. At any given time, there's 200 million people that are going to at the very least see that banner. You don't think Netflix is going to make a fucking $5 billion investment in WWE and not promote the fuck out of it and have it like right on their home screen, whether you like wrestling or not? And some of those people are going to click in. It's going to pick up new viewers. And I guarantee there's going to be the people that kick and they're going to scream for the first year, 2 years, 3 years. But by the end of that 10-year deal, every wrestling fan will be subscribed to Netflix. None of them will watch it on network TV. Because I'll tell you this too, SmackDown and NXT are still in network TV, which is brilliant, by the way, because now they have them in both. And by the way, let's not discount the fact that this is Raw on Netflix. If this was NXT, this would be a completely different thing. But it's not NXT. This is Raw. Everybody knows Monday Night Raw. This is a household name of a brand. Okay? This is no small fucking thing. And people are worried about, are people going to watch? Are the ratings? SmackDown's deal is going to come up at some point. I mean, they just signed a new one, so it'll be a while. Netflix, NXT's will come up at some point. The first one that's going to pop up is their deal with Peacock. It's got only a couple years left. If Netflix, by chance, wants to make a play for the entire WWE brand, that could be an option within the next 10 years. They could re-up the whole deal when Netflix and when NXT and SmackDown become available, and just tear up the Raw deal and sign a deal for all of it, everything. An indicator of if they're going to make a play for SmackDown and NXT or if they make a play for the WWE Network when their rights deals come up for Peacock. But the idea is over 10 years, think about 10 years ago. There was no Disney Plus. There was no Paramount Plus. There was no Peacock. There was no Max. If there was Hulu, there was barely a Hulu. And then there was Netflix. There was still Blockbuster. Blockbuster was the fucking, the close sign was barely, it was still warm inside. It hasn't even gotten cold inside of a Blockbuster yet. I mean, it was kind of, but you get the point. Netflix was the OG. And I'll tell you this too, this whole streaming war, bringing it back to that, making a play for WWE this big shows that they're making a play, and same thing with that football. Now, I guarantee that football game was a dip your toe test. Let's see how this goes with Peacock, the NFL. Everybody thinks that, these people that think that cable TV, network TV, your fucking channel 2 through 700 and your satellite, that this is still the thing that's always going to be the thing. And you don't realize all of your favorite news pundits that are kicked off of TV because they got a mind of their own, where do they go? And that's both sides, by the way. Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon both got shows on Twitter. Their own independent shows, both far left, far right, if you want to do that or whatever, all sides, they're moving to the internet because you don't need a network anymore. You think in 10 years, these streaming, the news sites, all the big news pundits, all the stars, they're going to move up. You're going to get your foot in the door at a network if it still exists, which I'm sure it will, to get your experience and build up a little name value so that you can go out on your own on the internet and make your own money as an independent. NFL, I guarantee, maybe even as soon as next year, but if not, within the next 5, guarantee within the next 10, are going to be doing streaming regularly. Games will be streamed regularly. It would not surprise me to see full teams get a streaming deal, catch this team's game on however the fuck they do it, but you get the point. These other networks are going to try to buy in because of the streaming wars. They're going to try to compete. Oh, we got to get live shit. Which, by the way, this is going to work out well for AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, which let me take a moment to who's been talking about since day one that WWE Raw is not going to Warner Brothers Discovery and that they are firmly in the AEW business. Everybody and their mom was on that bandwagon until fucking Amazon Prime came around, and then everybody forgot about Warner Brothers. Even Meltzer today did a thing. Well, the working theory was down to Amazon, or it was down to fucking whatever the fuck. It was not down to Warner Brothers Discovery. I've been saying that since day one. But this is going to work out for AEW because they're going to try to get their fucking streaming service up and running here. And they're going to want to get in the live game. And so AEW's brands are on the table, and this could see a Dynamite remaining on TV and say a Collision moving to streaming and a Ring of Honor moving to streaming and the entire AEW and Ring of Honor collection video library moving to Max. Moving to streaming, which is why I also said look for Tony Khan within the next few years to be acquiring the rights to other tape libraries. I would say Pro Wrestling Guerrilla would be number one. Wait for that tape library to come up and Tony to buy it. He would be smart to start building his own. That was the real investment in Ring of Honor, not whatever the fuck he's doing now. In fact, he's kind of killing Ring of Honor, but I'm way digressing here. But the real value was the tape library. Look for those tape libraries to be acquired within the next 10 years, which might even be why WWE and TNA are buddy-buddy all of a sudden. But something could be going on there. But all of these streaming networks are going to want to get in that game and compete. Also, Netflix. Let's talk about the strength of Netflix. Oh, they're hugely in debt and they can't afford billions. Let's shut the fuck up. Streaming's not going anywhere. It's not like every single one of these streaming platforms are going to fold and it's all going to go back to network TV. That's a pipe dream. That's unrealistic. That's lies. Some of these streaming networks will survive these streaming wars. Not all of them. Some will fold. Others will combine. Paramount Plus is already in talks of being sold off to some other. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. I want to say Warner Brothers Discovery, but I can't say that with 100%. But they are definitely shopping around right now to sell Paramount as the whole studio, all of it. And even if Warner Brothers Discovery buys it, they have even been suspected of possibly buying these properties, trimming these properties, cutting the fat, and then to flip them and sell them off to somebody else. Disney's not going to fold. Disney is, as much as they're kind of failing and falling on their ass right now, they'll find their way. They're Disney. Disney's not going to fucking kiss anybody's ass or take a backseat to anybody. Disney will get in the game. Disney will be around. Max seems to be, unless Warner Brothers Discovery ends up selling off to some other media powerhouse, they seem to be in the collecting game. So they may end up being who acquires Paramount and who ends up being a strong player in the streaming wars. Hulu's already owned by Disney, so that's not really, this is the same thing. In fact, I think they just merged, did they not? They just officially like combined. I'm going long. I'm drinking a cup of water here, so I don't have to cough and edit it out. Fuck you. Point of all that being that Netflix isn't going anywhere, folks. Netflix was the OG. They are the Bitcoin of the streaming world. They're not going to die. They're not going to fold. They're going to keep getting the money somehow, some way, and pumping it into being the best in the streaming business. And Monday Night Raw sends a message, sends ripples across the entire industry. I think the effects of this won't fully be seen until we're 10 years out and we're looking at the back end of this. But I think all of these people, for one, I think that football game on Peacock, along with this Netflix Raw deal, are single-handedly singling the death of network television, cable television. Will they still be around for local news, weather, national news? Morning, see, I coughed anyway. Jesus. Morning, I'm leaving it in. It doesn't matter. We're getting this up here. Morning talk shows, perhaps. But honestly, what is propping up national television? It's sports balls. It's live. So it's your news, it's your sports, and your pro wrestling. That's why pro wrestling is one of the top rated, if not the top rated, other than Monday Night Raw or football and all of that shit. What's the common denominator there? They're live. That's why people have to tune in to watch them. Plain and simple. You have to. Okay? So why can't we have to tune in to watch them live on Netflix instead? 200 million people have Netflix. How many people have cable? Do you have cable? I cut my cable a long ass time ago. My mom, she's an old ass woman, not super old, but she's an old ass woman. She doesn't have cable. Fuck cable, right? Expensive bills. In fact, they're trying to bundle in and do package deals with streaming services just to get people to buy their shit. And they'll throw in a free phone line that nobody wants. But it lowers your bill by like $10. So, of course, you'll take a phone line. The thing is that after your 2-year deal, your bill actually shoots up, and then you got to call in. And you don't have to do that with Netflix. $10, $15, $20. Ad free is like $7, or with the ads. In 10 years, you're telling me TV is going to have any relevancy at all in 10 years? This is the play. This is the play. They're making that move, just like they did when they jumped from from pay-per-view and everything else that they were doing to the WWE Network, to selling it off to Peacock. This is the way. Now Monday Night Raw, the flagship brand of WWE, an institution that's been around for 30 years. It's a household name, Monday Night Raw. What's the wrestling show? WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown. You know these brands. It's on Netflix. 200 million people buy Netflix. More people are going to buy it because they want to watch wrestling. Can't tell me they won't. Why do you pay for Peacock? Right, exactly. Don't fucking tell me. So what else are you hanging on to TV for? Because you're also a sports ball fan. Okay. Well, that football game that took place on the Peacock Network and drew 23 million people sure as fuck shows me that the NFL, NHL, NBA, baseball, if people still watch that, I don't know, soccer over in the European countries where they call it football. I'm sure some of these people look, man, they're going to move to a streaming platform if their sports ball moves to a streaming platform. If NBC gets the NFL rights, they're going to buy Peacock Network. If Netflix gets the rights to NHL fans are going to buy Netflix. If Disney gets women's basketball, maybe some people will buy it, probably not, I don't know. But you get the point. And don't think that these other streaming networks aren't going to try to follow suit now. It's the streaming wars. They're going to see this and go, oh, we got to get in the live game now to compete. So they're going to try to acquire other live shit, which is going to lead into these sports deals, massive sports deals. And, honestly, I don't know if an NFL could be, they might have to split their games up over multiple networks like they do now. Who's to say? NBC already has rights. Why can't they just do it on Peacock? Why not? Disney owns their ABC, so why don't they have rights to NFL games as well? Why don't they just show them on Disney Plus and Hulu? You see what I'm saying? Times are a-changing, my friends. What are you hanging on to your fucking Spectrum cable bill for? Or your fucking, what's the other? Comcast? Are they still a thing? Satellite? What's satellite? Are there satellite people still? Dish Network? They're Dish Network people? Honestly, what are you holding on to it for? And I promise you, whatever you're holding on to it for will make the move over the next 5 to 10 years to streaming. Probably exclusively. And cable TV will just go bye-bye because there's no need for it. All of your news is on the internet. All your news pundits are on the internet. All of your sports balls will move over to the internet. Wrestling's halfway there. The pay-per-views are there. They already got you conditioned for it. Their pay-per-views are there. Their entire back catalog is there. Now their Monday Night Raw is going to be there. And so on, as will go the industry. So that's what's going on here, guys. This is a big, big, big deal. Very significant. This is not a bad move. This is a forward-thinking move. This is a very WWE-esque move. And listening to Nick Khan's interview, by the way, and I think I'm going to do a separate video on a separate angle with that on the Pat McAfee Show. But listening to Nick Khan talk, he's not a horrible replacement for Vince McMahon in the business world. He gets shit done. And he's got a sound understanding of wrestling, of the entertainment business. He's a fucking mastermind. And this is a forward-thinking, trend-setting move that's going to make a lot of people go, I don't know what I think about that. That's a big shakeup for me. It's too much change for me. I'm not ready for all that change. Where they're already looking, they're not looking at right now. They're not looking at next year, 2 years, 3 years. They signed a 10-year deal, which Netflix has the option to pick up another 5 after that, making this a 15-year deal for the WWE on Netflix. Netflix is a household name. It's a household brand. They're only going to continue to get bigger as TV dies, as they acquire more and more of these brands and these rights. Netflix, this is the way of the world, folks. This is where we're moving. If you guys still got your landlines in your house, you're scared of cell phones, you don't want to put your credit card information on Amazon. I get it. I understand. It's a changing world. Times they are changing. You guys got to get with it. I guarantee you in 5 years, let alone 10 years, all of this entire industry is going to look completely different. Everything's going to be on the internet, guys. All of it. Cable is all dying. It's going away. In fact, like a Comcast or a Charter Spectrum wouldn't be. They might find more relevancy in trying to do bundle deals with the streaming services like they do with the cable networks right now instead of the cable networks, because the cable networks are going to go away. Or find homes on streaming services. They already have their places, ABC News is on Disney or whatever. They can be on Disney or Hulu. CNN is Warner Brothers Discovery, right? They could, I think they sold that off, but you get the point. They can find their way on these streaming shows too. Their morning shows, play them in the morning. It's live. And you can just click. Oh, I'm going to click on this morning show. I'm going to click on Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm going to click on the football game. And I'm going to leave it there, I think, because there's a lot to digest, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to say about this, a lot more we're going to learn about this as time goes on. This is a huge, 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 huge deal. I cannot stress this enough, not just for wrestling, not just for WWE, for AEW. This is huge for the entire media. This is huge for television. This is huge for streaming. This is huge for sports. This is huge for media rights. This is huge for all of it. This will historically be looked back on as the first big deal in a long line of deals that lead to the death of television and the proliferation of streaming. Everybody's going to be on it, even your grandma. They're all coming, even you. These holdouts, you grumpy, my sports ball on channel 57. Or is that FX? I don't know. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It's all going away. It's all dead. 10 years? In 10 fucking years, you're telling me? Get a clue. Get with it. Times are changing. That's just my 2 cents. I love to hear your comments down in my comments, your thoughts down in my thoughts, your thoughts down in my comments below. Let me know what you think. Are you one of these holdouts? Are you one of these people that are very pissed off about this? Or, are you stubbornly a holdout? Or do you think, as I do, this is not only forward thinking, this is progressive, this is thinking of your future 10 years from now? Where are you going to be? I've seen people out there saying, oh, they're going to sign this deal. And then what after that? They've been off TV for 5-10 years. How are they ever going to get themselves back on network TV and be able to get another good pay? They're not. It's not going to, you fail to, it's not going to be the world that we live in today. 10 years ago was not the world that we're in now. 10 years from now will not be the world we live in today. That's my thoughts. Peace, love, and pizza. This excites me. I love this. This is such a huge, huge deal. My dick's still hard. If you are new to the channel, yes, we talk about being fully erect to wrestling stuff. If that is your cup of tea, hit that subscribe button. Peace, love, and pizza. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next. Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.